Thank you, Shilpa. So this is what SQL database as service in Azure Cloud Computing. SQL database as service in Azure Cloud Computing. Very good. So I'll go to Azure Data Engineering. I'll go to the material and let me go to page number 25 here. Let me go to page number 25. Okay, page number 25. Yeah, this one. Fine. SQL database as service in Azure Cloud Computing. So see here, guys, pass from 25 30 years. Pass from 25 to 30 years. Okay, we are doing SQL database deployment. Okay, we are doing SQL database deployment in our on-prem, only. In on-prem only. We are deploying our SQL database deployment in on-prem only, right? So what we'll do now, we'll see how we can deploy SQL database, okay, in Azure Cloud Computing. Okay, so what we'll do, okay, past from 25 30 years, we are doing SQL database deployment in on-prem only. In on-prem means our local instance, our local SQL instance. But now we are having an option. Now we are having an option where we can deploy SQL Server and SQL database in Azure Cloud Computing, in Azure Cloud Computing platform. In Azure Cloud Computing platform. Okay. And after we deploy this SQL database in Azure Cloud Computing platform, we can even connect to this cloud database from our local laptop, and we can perform all the operations also. We can perform all the operations even. We can perform all the operations even. Okay, fine. How we can do that? That I'm going to show you. Okay, so I'll go here. I'll say portal.azure.com. I'll say here portal.azure.com. I'll log into the Azure portal.
What is that?
Okay. I'll say here now SQL databases. SQL database. See, I got it. SQL databases. Okay, SQL databases. One thing you have to keep in mind, guys. One thing you have to keep in mind. Okay. One thing is, okay, we can deploy SQL DB in cloud only if we are having SQL server available. Okay, if SQL server is not available, by any chance, then you have to create one. If SQL server or SQL instance, is not available in cloud computing by any chance, then you have to create one. One SQL server is compulsory to create an SQL database in cloud computing. Okay, one SQL server is compulsory to create an SQL database in cloud computing. At least one SQL server is must. Okay, fine. So I'll say here create. Okay, now it is asking me to fill these details. I'll take here my RG. Okay, I want to create the SQL database here, and the database name can give any database name. I'll say here, okay, DB in cloud. I'm saying here DB in cloud, database in cloud. Simple name I'm giving. Now this is what SQL server. If you're having one, click on it and select. If you're not having it, click on create new. Click on create new. Server name, you can give any server name. I'll take the server name SQL server in Azure 1121. I'm just giving this name SQL server in Azure 1121, and it is saying that pick up the sub location where you want to create. I'll say here something Korea Central. Any location I can pick here to create the SQL server instance. Fine. And then next is what authentication method. How you want people to connect to your SQL server instance. Microsoft Entra only authentication means the people who are part of your Microsoft Entra, they can only connect to this SQL server, or else use both SQL and Microsoft Entra authentication. Means the people who are having your SQL server authentication, user ID and password. The people who are having your SQL server user ID and password, they can also connect. And the people who are part of your Microsoft Entra, they can also connect. Or else SQL authentication only means the people who are having user ID and password of your SQL instance. Which one you want to choose? I'll just take this one. This one is good. Then Entra admin, Microsoft Entra admin. I'll just select one user here as an Entra admin. I'll take that user as a Gareth. Okay, this is the user I have selected. Click on select. Done. User I have selected Gareth. Server admin login. I'll take it as Gareth. And the password to connect to the server is this one. Okay, so see here, database name. Okay, SQL server name. Okay, and database username. Okay, database password. Okay, all these things you have to record. What is the database name we are giving? We are giving the database name as a cloud. Okay, DB in cloud. This is the database name we have given. SQL server name, what we are giving? We are giving this name. SQL server in Azure. Database username, we are giving it as what? Gareth. Database password, we are giving it as this one. Is all details we have to capture. These all details we have to keep it at one place. Okay, so that going forward we can use these details to connect to our cloud SQL server instance and cloud database. So I'm just saying here all this is fine. Server admin login name Gareth, password is this one, all fine. I'll say here okay. Okay, then I'll say here next want to use SQL Elastic Pool. SQL Elastic Pool is a feature, guys, which will put all your SQL databases in an Elastic Pool, in one Elastic Pool. And all the databases which are part of this Elastic Pool, they will share the compute power, network power, processing power, etc., etc. If you say here no, then the database what you are creating, that will be a standalone database. That will be standalone database. The database is absolutely okay, reserved for all its compute power, processing power, networking power, etc., etc. Okay, fine. Workload environment, development or production, what you want. I'll say here development. I'm deploying this SQL database for development. Okay. Compute plus storage. Here you can decide what is your database size you want and what is the compute processing power you want for your database. So click here on configure database. And here see, service tier we are having two types, vCore and DTU. I have mentioned all these guys. See, SQL database is offered as PaaS and IaaS both. So when you are deploying SQL database directly in the Azure portal, then that comes under PaaS category. When you are creating a virtual machine and inside if you are installing SQL server, then that comes under IaaS category. Azure SQL Database is a cloud-based relational database service that is built on SQL Server technology, supports SQL command and all that stuff. Benefits of SQL Database as service. SQL Database deployment options. We can deploy a single database, okay, that is a standalone database. All the compute power, processing power, networking power, everything will be reserved for that database only. Elastic pool, collection of single databases with fixed set of resources such as CPU, memory, shared by all databases in pools, etc. Then manage instances, set of databases which can be used together. Multiple options you are having here. Okay. And Azure SQL database purchasing model, we are having DTU and vCore. This is what? DTU and vCore. Okay. DTU and vCore. Or else I'll say here vCore and DTU, but one of the same thing. vCore and DTUs. Okay. My Fine. So there are two purchasing models. We are having vCore and DTUs. What is vCore? First is what? This one is vCore. This is virtual core. vCore is virtual. Here we are having three options: general purpose, hyperscale, business critical. Okay. If you see here for general purpose, okay, vCore, okay, is a virtual core provided higher compute, memory, and storage limit, and gives us the great control. Gives us the great control over the compute and storage resources that we create and pay for. That we create and pay for. Okay, fine. Database transaction units. Fine. Two types we are having here. Either you can take this one or this one. Normally, when you are deploying a database for your low-level environments like dev, QA, etc., then you will go for basic, standard, okay, general purpose, etc. When you are deploying the database for production, then you have to go for business critical or premium. Business critical or premium you have to go with. So that is what it is mentioning here. DTU stands for database transaction unit, and it is combined measure of compute, storage, and IO resources. This DTU base model is not supported in managed instances. Okay, so we are having three options: basic, standard, and premium. Basic normally we use for low-level environments for learning purpose. Okay, for first timers, etc. Standard we use standard or general purpose we use for dev server, QA server, etc. And premium we use for when we are deploying database for prod servers, when we are deploying prod databases, when we are deploying staging databases. That is very critically important. Then we'll go for premium or business critical. Each service tier offers different level of performance and capabilities to support lightweight to heavyweight database workloads. We can build our first app on a small database for few months, and then we can change the service tier manually or programmatically at any time based upon the convenience without any downtime to our apps and customers. So when you deploy database with standard, later on you want to upgrade it to premium, that is absolutely possible without any downtime, without any problem. It is absolutely fine. Okay, fine. So this is what I'm explaining. I'll just take here standard now. Standard. This is budget friendly. DTU is what? Data transaction units. This is the power. This is the power of your database to process the queries. So you can give power here 20. You can give power here 30, 40, anything you want, you can give. So what is happening here with this? With this, it will increase the price. As you are increasing the power of your database processing, it will increase the price for you. So see now, when you are giving 20, it is showing you how much? 2,694 rupees per month. Estimated cost per month, 2,694 rupees per month. If you say here 20 to 10, then see, it is giving you how much? 1,347 rupees per month. 1,347 rupees per month. So the entire game is on this processing power only, on this DTU only. The entire game is on this DTU only. Okay. So you increase this power, the amount will get increased for you. Database capacity, you want 100 GB database, then select here 100. You want 40 GB database, pass here 40. Whatever the size you want. See, size you increase to 40 to 100, it does not increase the money. See, the money is same, 1347, 1347. After I increase the database size, the game is on the processing power of the database. The game is on the processing power of the database. 10, it is taking this much. If I go for 20, it will take double. 1347, double it will do. See, 2694. I'll say here apply. This is the configuration of the database I have done. 20 DTUs, 100 GB. Now you are finding 100 GB is very high volume, very high size. You say here 40 GB. Apply. Okay. Next, backup storage redundancy. Locally redundant backup storage, zone redundant, geo redundant. Locally means wherever you are creating your database, the database will be, okay, copied in the same region. When you're saying here local, same like storage account. We have seen LRS, ZRS, GRS, all this in storage account application options. Okay. So locally means it will copy it in the same region. Three copies it will take. Okay. Next is what? Zone redundant. Zone redundant means it will keep the copies, primary copy in one region, secondary copy in another region, but the secondary copy is read only. Fine. Geo redundant means it will maintain the copies in multiple regions with full read-write access. I'll just say here locally, this is cheap. Compared to all, this is cheap, economical. Next, networking. I want this database to be deployed as public endpoint. Means after getting the access to the database, anyone can, connect to my database if I say public endpoints. Okay, private endpoint means this is completely confidential. You have to define one private endpoint. Then from that private endpoint only, your database will be accessible. No access is completely confidential. Public endpoint. Allow Azure services and resources to access this server. Yes. Okay. Other Azure services are there, like storage account is there, file share server is there. Okay, app services is there. If that other Azure resources wants to connect to this, then they can connect it. You say yes here. Add current client IP address. Yes. Means I can connect to this cloud database from my local laptop. That's what I'm trying to say. Fine. Connectivity connection policy, I'll just go to default. I'll say here next. This is TLS version, transmission layer security. It's a kind of security certificate that will attach when we are provisioning SQL databases, storage accounts, etc. Next is security. Okay. So see here what I'm saying. Enable Microsoft Defender for SQL. No, I don't want it. This is one of the tools that we are having. Microsoft Defender for SQL. This is one of the tools we are having, wherein it will measure the performance of our database. It will check the health condition of our database. It will check how the database is performing when multiple concurrent users are connecting, how much time it is taking to how much time the database is taking to perform the queries, run the queries, all that stuff it will give you. Microsoft Defender. It is very expensive also, guys. See, for one server for 1 month, it is charging 1247 rupees. For one server for 1 month, it is charging 1247 rupees. That is a very high cost. If you are having 300, 400 servers, then how much the cost? It would be very high. Okay. Rest of the things I'm just leaving it to default, guys. I'll just go here next. Additional settings. So you want this database to be a new database, brand new. Nothing you want in this database, then say here none. If you want this database to be backup of some other database, then you select backup here, and which database backup you want this as this database. Which database backup you want this database as backup, you can select. If you say here sample, then it will create a adventure works database for you. It will create an adventure works database for you. Okay, like this you are having multiple options. I'll go for none. None means I want an empty database. I want an empty brand new database which should be not carrying any data, anything in it. Next tags, pass on the tags here accordingly. Tags is the optional parameter, guys, that you will see every time when you are deploying anything. Fine. Next, I'll say here review plus create, and then I click on create here. I click on create here. So what it is doing now, it is going to create SQL Server instance and SQL database in cloud computing. Okay, just hold on. Let the deployment gets completed. Okay, it's getting deployed, guys. Just hold on for a minute. The deployment is in progress. Okay, the database got deployed. Okay, see now, this is my database name, and this is my SQL server name. Okay. Yes, this database is created in Azure Cloud Platform. SQL database is offered this as a service. Using this service, we have created a database. Is that clear? This is my database name. This is my SQL server name. So this database is sitting on top of this SQL server. This database is sitting on top of this SQL server. Okay, is that clear? So compute plus storage, if you see here, we have deployed this database with the 20 DTUs and 40 GB size. Okay, later on, if you want to increase the size from 40 GB to 60 GB, say here 60 GB and then say here apply. So what you are doing, you are increasing the database size even after the database deployment. This is what the beauty of Azure cloud computing. This is what the strength that you can do any activity. Okay, we can do any activity in cloud database even after the deployment. Okay, we can do any activity in cloud database even after the deployment. You can change the size. Okay, you can increase the capacity, all that stuff you can do. Now this database is where in cloud computing. Okay, now I want to connect to this database from my local laptop. I want to connect to my database from my local laptop. So what you have to do, if you want to connect, you want to connect from your local laptop, then you must have SQL server installed in your laptop and SSMS. SSMS installed in your laptop. These two things you have to install in your laptops. Compulsorily, you have to have these two things. Then only you can connect your cloud database from your local laptop. Okay, fine. So what I'll do, I'll go here. I'll say here SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. This I have already installed in my laptop. Now, this is what my SQL Server name. Okay, I'll say here SQL Server name. That is what I have given. I'll say here SQL Server authentication. Okay, login admin username I have given Gareth only. See, this is the name. SQL Server in Azure 1121. .database.windows.net. I'll say here done. See, now I have connected to my cloud's SQL server. This is my cloud database. What is the database name? DB in cloud. That is what we are seeing here. That is what you are seeing here, DB in cloud. Fine. Now, this database is what an empty database. If you see here, in this database, there is nothing. No custom tables are there. Okay, see, there is no tables here. No tables. It's all empty. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'll start writing the queries on my cloud database. Okay, so I'll say here new query. I'll say a new query and I will start creating the tables. Okay, I'll work on this cloud database. I'll work on this cloud database as if I'm working in my private on-prem database. Okay, because using SSMS, I have connected to my cloud SQL server instance, and this is my cloud database. So what I'll do, this is some queries I'm having, some sample queries. If you open here, see, this is the sample query. What I'll do, I'll execute this query from my local laptop. I'm executing this query from my local laptop, but the table is getting created in cloud database. Getting, guys, is that clear? So what I am trying to say, is, okay, if you have opened the port to connect to your, okay, if you have opened the ports to connect to your cloud DB, then you can connect it from your laptop also. You can connect it from your laptop even. Getting, is that clear? So that is what I have connected. I have opened SSMS. I have opened SSMS right in front of you. I have given these details. Okay, see, connect database engine. Okay, SQL server in Azure 1121.database.windows.net. Okay, and then I can pass these details here and I can connect to my cloud database directly. Fine. This is what I'm doing. So I'm creating a table in my cloud database. Then I'll check whether the table got created or not. See, table got created. I'll just go here. I'll take a refresh. Okay. I'll say here, see, table got created. Previously, this table was not there. Okay. Then if I do this execute, see, table got created, but data is not there in the table. Next, what I'll do, I'll insert the data into the table. I'll insert the data into the table. Now, what I'll do, I'll come here and I will check whether the data has been created inside the table or not. Whether the data has been inserted into the table or not. Yes, see, the data what I have inserted, it is now showing inside the table. It is showing inside the table. Got it, guys? Getting? Is it clear or not? Okay, fine. So like this, to install SQL Server Bhaskar Chaudhary, you have to follow one video in YouTube. I'll give you SQL Server software. Okay. I'll give SQL Server software. Okay. This you will get free of cost. I'll give you this one. This will get free of cost. Now, how to install? How to install? You please check it in YouTube. In YouTube, search how to install SQL Server, okay, 2019 in Windows laptop. Like this, you have to put it in YouTube. Okay. What is this SQL database and other SQL server where I deployment our SQL database, right? No. Mrityunjay, please put your question in a proper way. I'm not getting your question here. Please put your question in a proper manner. SQL database is sitting on top of SQL server. Fine. Fine. क्या क्या अभ्यास मुझे how to is what do you mean by how to, Mrityunjay? I didn't get. This is your SQL server engine. This is your SQL server. This you are installing. SQL server you are installing in your laptop. Okay. And on top of this SQL server, you can deploy multiple SQL databases. Multiple SQL databases you can deploy on top of this SQL server. This is your database. This is your DB. This is your DB. Multiple databases you can deploy. Okay. SQL server is an engine and SQL database is the part of SQL server. Like, you can have multiple SQL databases in one SQL server. So Bhaskar, I cannot create Azure account. Already I have shown step by step, ma. Step by step I have shown it. Okay. So if it's you struggle it, Bhaskar, you struggle, you will get to know, you will learn. Okay. If everything will be given ready-made, then how can you survive in the projects? Tell me. Debit card will not be considered. Credit card will only be considered. I have given you Chaitanya's user ID and password also, Bhaskar. That much spoon feeding I have given you. What else you want? Else come to my home. Come to my home and sit in my room. Okay. Search it in YouTube. Search it in YouTube. In YouTube, you will get every single thing. Okay. In the entire world. अम्मी के पास है अम्मी के बैग कौन सा है कि देखो ये हस्बैंड का देख रहा अम्मी का नहीं होगा in entire world. Okay, whatever you are doing, anything, you will get it in YouTube. Just you have to You have to search and you have to practice. You have to search, you have to practice. Not deploy database is small file in part of database. No. I'm not clear with it. I'm not clear with your question. Mitrunjay, please reframe your question. Not deploy database. You are deploying database on top of your SQL server. Okay, guys, if you are very new to IT industry, then I must say, please refer the basics of SQL. Anyhow, I am teaching SQL queries, no doubt. Okay, just understand this much at least. SQL server is an engine. On top of SQL server, we can host, we can create multiple SQL databases. Please understand this much. As of now, please understand this much. As the time goes on, okay, slowly your mind will be opened and you can understand many other things also. Okay. So you don't have credit card, Bhaskar, then I have given you the user ID and password now for Chaitanya. Who asked you to talk to Chaitanya? You could have straightforward login. You could have practiced it, right? Acha, for OTP you have asked. Okay. I'll do one thing. I'll give you one more user ID and password for Azure free trial account. Okay. You just practice it on it. And after you practice, you have to immediately delete the resource group. You have to delete the resource group. Or else, Bhaskar, if you are having one credit card, give me that credit card details. I'll create one free trial account for you. Okay. So these are the softwares. I'll give it for SQL Server. Whoever is interested, they can go ahead and they can download in their laptops. How to install SQL Server? Please search it in YouTube. It's a very lengthy process. Okay, it will take at least half an hour of time to install SQL Server and SSMS. So please search it in YouTube. Okay, Bhaskar, I understood, Ma. I understood, Bhaskar. I understood. I'll give you one free trial account, user ID and password. You just use it for your practice. Okay. What you guys have to do, see here, Bhaskar, create one resource group with your name, Bhaskar RG. Create all the resources in that resource group. Once you have done your lab, go inside the resource group and say here, delete resource group. Click here, paste the resource group name and say delete. This compulsory you have to do. This have to do. You have to do this one. You have to delete the resource group immediately. See, Anvita, when you want to connect to local instance, local SQL server, your laptop SQL server instance, then you can go with Windows authentication. When you want to connect to cloud SQL database, when you want to connect to cloud SQL server, then you have to choose SQL server authentication. See now, this is what my cloud server, cloud database. If I want to connect to my local SQL server, then I'll say connect database engine. I'll say here my local SQL server instance name, Windows authentication. I'll say here connect. See now, this is my cloud SQL server. This is my local SQL server. Getting? Is that clear, guys? Okay, fine. Likewise, I have given some other queries also, guys. See, these are the other queries. See, lot of queries are there for your practice. All these queries I have integrated. All these queries I have kept here in page number 28 in your material. Okay, this queries, what we are doing with these queries here, see, we are creating a table called cars. We are creating a table called countries. Create table, table name, column name, data type. ID is the column name in the table, name is the column in the table. See, this SQL queries also I am going to take classes for it. SQL queries, I am going to take classes for it. Right now, please understand this much that, okay, you are going to create tables, insert data, perform any operation you want as per your choice in cloud database from your local laptop. From your local laptop. If you notice here, I'm creating three tables: cars, one table; countries, one table; and movies, one table. Where these three tables I'm creating these three tables in my cloud database. See, this is my cloud database. See, this is my database in cloud. The name itself is I have given like this so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, three tables I am creating. So I'll say here execute. Okay, commands completed successfully. Come here. See, the three tables is not there, na? These three tables are not there. Car, countries, and movies. Just refresh. Now you will see the three tables. Car, countries, movies.
क्या क्या
सामान आंटी के बैग में दिखा था वो भी लेके चले गया शायद
उन्होंने पहले थे
Fine. Here you can see the table structure. See the columns, what you are having, the column data types. In SSMS, you can see it very conveniently. That's why SSMS is the most convenient tool that we are having, okay, to analyze the data, to write the SQL queries, etc., etc. Next, I'll insert the records into these three tables. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm inserting the records into these tables. See how many records I'm inserting? Plenty of records. In cars table, I'm inserting all these records. All these records I'm inserting. Lot of records. See how many records are there? This is very convenient. Next, I'm inserting records in countries table. I'm inserting records in movies table. So for ease of execution, I'll just okay, I'll just minimize this queries table. I'll say here execute. That's it. See, in cars table, this many records inserted. In countries table, this many records inserted. In movies table, this many records inserted. Okay, click on tables, refresh.
देखो इसमें निकालना होगा इसमें
Okay.
बहुत है तो दे
What I'll do now, I'll say here select star from dbo.cars. Execute. See, all records got inserted inside the table. And where is this table? It's in cloud database. Okay. Same likewise, you can check for other tables also. Countries, movies. Let us check whether the records got inserted or not.
वो इजी जल्दी डिसॉल्व होती बॉडी में कितना पानी पूरा पानी
So incorrect syntax. See, I got the records inserted in countries table. If I check, I got the records inserted in movies table also. Amazing. Amazing. Everything I'm doing from SSMS only from my local laptop. Everything. Okay. We are doing from our SSMS from our local laptop only, but all these operations is happening in cloud database. All this is we are doing on cloud database.
बस अल्लाह ताला गुजार दिए अल्लाह का शुक्र है खैरियत से बस
If you want to check these tables in Azure portal, that is also possible. How can you do that? You know, you go here to query editor. You log in with the username and password, what you have given at the time of database creation. This is what we have given, right? Database username we have given Gareth. That's what I'm passing. Password we have given this one. This is what the password. Say here, okay. Fine. Table. See, all the tables what we have created, the tables are reflecting here also. Amazing, amazing, super, super. The tables are reflecting here as well. So let me check whether the data is reflecting, data is there or not. Select star from dbo.cars. Run query. Wow, see, I'm getting the data here also in my cloud platform. All the data. Right. This is what about the SQL database, guys. How we can deploy, how we can manage, how we can write the queries, how we can execute the queries from our local laptop. All these things. Fine. Next is what we are having, advantages of cloud computing. Advantages of cloud computing. This is all theoretical part, guys. All theoretical part. Advantages and features of Azure cloud computing. This is all theory. Key points on Azure data engineering. Some key points on Azure data engineering. This is all theoretical part. There is nothing here for practical for me to show you guys. Okay, this is all theory. Helpful for you for your interviews point of view. Okay, what is Azure Data Factory? What is Azure Data Factory? This will start in the next class. What is Azure Data Factory? This will start in the next class. And one more thing here, guys. See, tomorrow there is no class. Tomorrow there is no class. Okay. I'm traveling tomorrow. So no class tomorrow. We'll connect again on Wednesday. We'll connect again on Wednesday, day after tomorrow. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear, guys? Yes, you can host it. If Azure is offering Oracle, okay. If it is offering Oracle database, then you can deploy Oracle also in cloud computing. Okay. Now I have shown this with SQL database, Silpa Shahu. You tried for Oracle. You tried for Oracle. Okay. Remind me in the next class, Dhananjay. Remind me in the next class for assignments. I'll give the assignment. No problem. There is a lot of things that we are supposed to cover, guys. Okay. Lot of syllabus is there. Lot of syllabus is there. Okay. We are actually going very slow. Okay. I'll increase the speed, but I'm not sure if I increase the speed of the class, then you will understand it or not. Because many people are absolute fresher here. No, for AWS is not possible. Okay. Bhaskar, AWS is not possible. Okay. I'll show other migrations. Private cloud to public cloud to private cloud, platform migrations, other migrations I'll show. Remind me in the next class, Manpreet. I'll just I'll give some queries if possible from my end. Okay. Fine, guys. See, again, I'm reminding no class tomorrow. Tomorrow we are having no class. We'll connect again on Wednesday, guys. I'm traveling. We'll connect again on Wednesday. Fine. Am I good to close the class? In the live projects, we are covering that, Bhaskar. We are going to do some live project. First, you take care of your Azure free trial subscription, Bhaskar. The concepts what you are asking, and you could not able to handle simple. You could not able to create simple basic free trial account. Just first learn that one. Yeah, thank you, Jananjay. Okay, fine. All right, guys. Bye, everyone. Take care.